Hey, what's up everybody? So I am back with another video, and I apologize for taking a hiatus for the last couple of days, but I've been really getting myself together and trying to just relax and focus on my recovery and my healing. So but I did want to definitely get back with you guys, sorry about that, about things since the surgery. I was doing daily videos, and so that was kind of leading up to everything, keeping everybody posted about how things were going with the preliminary process as far as the liquid diet is concerned, surgery day and things like that. But more than quantity of videos, I wanted to produce more quality videos that really address some things that, questions maybe you've had, concerns, things like that. Maybe you've never had a chance to sit down and talk to someone who's had bariatric surgery before, or you know, you have other questions that were not answered. So hopefully that this video will address some of those things. So I decided to take the top 10 questions, comments, concerns that I've heard since making it known that I am undergoing bariatric surgery, or I have undergone it now. So I thought maybe I'd take a time to answer some of those questions and give you my thoughts on it. 10 of them, as a matter of fact. So here we go. So bariatric surgery is surgery that is done on a person to modify the way that their stomach is in order to limit the amount of food that they can take in. And it also affects the way that their body absorbs minerals and supplements and vitamins. The procedure I decided to have was the gastric sleeve, or the sleeve gastrectomy, vertical gastric sleeve. All of those are qualifying terms for it. What the surgery basically is, the doctor went in laparoscopically and removed, I think, 80 to 85% of my stomach, made it shape into like a banana. And so now, instead of being able to hold like 30 plus ounces in my stomach can only hold 3 ounces at a time. Comfortably. I did not have the Roux-en-Y. The Roux-en-Y is when they reroute the intestines a certain way. So I have a little bit of knowledge about that particular procedure, but that's not what I had. I had the gastric sleeve. So my stomach pouch is now a very small little pouch. And yeah, I don't have the majority of my stomach there. So that means that right now I'm on a liquid diet, and full liquid, so I can have puddings, jellos, protein shakes, some soupy watered or milked down 1 grain cereal, yogurt, things like that. And eventually I'll be able to move on to soft pureed foods and soft foods and regular foods, but I will never be able to eat the same amount of food that a quote-unquote normal person will be able to eat. So I got interested in bariatric surgery probably about 10 years ago, 9 or 10 years ago. A friend of mine was going to have gastric bypass, or Roux-en-Y, which is the procedure that I did not have. But at the time, that was the main thing that people who got weight loss surgery were getting. It was either the lap band or the Roux-en-Y. And so I first started getting interest in bariatric surgery, weight loss surgery, about 9 or 10 years ago. The gastric sleeve became more of an interest to me within the last 3 or 4 years, when it became a little bit more prevalent, when it was becoming more so of a standard in weight loss surgery. People were preferring it because of the because it did not come with the malabsorption, the same type of malabsorption that the Roux-en-Y did. Excuse me. I'm gassy since surgery, so you have to excuse me. I keep belching. And it's a little bit painful, I'm not gonna lie. So Yeah, it was about 3 or 4 years ago when I became interested in it. And then I went to the doctor one day for a physical, and I weighed in at my highest, which was 327 pounds. And at that point, I decided that I wanted to do something more permanent as far as weight loss was concerned. So I started looking into the gastric sleeve, doing a little bit of research, trying to see what all it entailed, what you needed to do, and what the expectations were for it and everything like that. So a generalized interest in bariatric surgery within the last 10 years, but more specifically within the last 2 to 3 years. Oh, I tried everything outside of becoming bulimic and anorexic. I tried doing, cleanses. I've tried doing Weight Watchers a few times. I tried medical programs where you go and they fix all of the food for you, and all you do is you take it, heat it up, and eat it. I've tried being more vegetarian-like, pescatarian, which is people that just eat fish. That didn't last very long. Protein shakes. I tried working out, joining a gym, getting a trainer. I tried all of those things before deciding that. I tried diet pills too, prescription strength appetite suppressants, and that had its own horrible complications for me. So I tried a lot of different things before just deciding that I wanted to do the gastric sleeve. Actually, I did not approach my doctor to get approval and clearance from my insurance to do the gastric sleeve until almost 1 full year ago. So yeah, it wasn't just a rush decision. I had tried other things before. Well, it is not a very easy process, let me tell you that. So everybody's insurance is different, and everybody's insurance has different requirements. Each surgeon also has their own requirements. I will focus on mine. I have HAP HMO through my employer. And so the requirement was that they just wanted a letter from the doctor stating that I had been trying on my own to lose weight, and that the doctor thought it would be a medical advantage for me to have the surgery. So I approached my doctor and I told my doctor, I said, hey, I want to do the bariatric surgery. I need you to do the approvals for me, or do the submit prior authorization for me. Once the doctor submitted that, it took the insurance about 2 to 3 weeks to get back with me and tell me that I was approved. And from there, the program I went through was through Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit. So I was made to go to a 6-hour seminar or class in which they entailed exactly what the surgery was all about. And they explained to you what they expected of you in their program and what you could expect of them. From there, I had a series of appointments. I had to go meet with the surgeon, first of all. The surgeon is the one who set forth the guidelines that he wanted to see happen prior to surgery, which for me was to lose 10 pounds. This was in May of 2016. It's now February 2017. So we're talking about 8 or 9 months ago. So the surgeon told me that he wanted me to lose the 10 pounds, work on keeping a journal of all of my food that I was eating and any exercise that I was getting in. I used the app MyFitnessPal on my phone and linked it with my Fitbit. So I didn't really record too much of my exercise. I kind of went off of the steps that were recorded from Fitbit. But if I did specialized exercise, like if I did a boot camp class, or if I did, like a 90-minute dance class or something like that, I would put that in as extra. But I had to put in everything: breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. Anything that went in my mouth was going to have to go into MyFitnessPal. And every time I would go to different professionals during this process, I would have to show them my journal, and so they would look at it, they would see what I was doing and compare my weight with what was going on. The first 10 pounds were really, the first 6 or 7 pounds were really easy. Those last 3 or 4 were hard, and it took me quite a while to get there. But during that time, I saw the surgeon, as I said, for an initial consult. I then had to see an exercise physiologist, which is a person that you go to. They watch you literally work out for like 30 minutes on a treadmill. They're monitoring your heart rate, trying to see if you actually are able to exercise, giving you critiques and things on your form, and giving you suggestions and ideas. Then I had to see a dietitian. The dietitian is someone that I worked with very closely, because anytime I had an appointment and I was not making the goals for my weight loss, the dietitian or nutritionist, as you know, some people call them, would go through my food log and tell me what to take out, what to put in, what to do, you know, what to tweak, things like that. I also had to see a psychologist to get a psychological clearance. Psychologist or psychiatrist. I want to say she was like a psychiatrist. But to get psychological clearance. And then I came back to meet with the surgeon. Now, there is a part where, like I said, the losing the full 10 pounds was a struggle for me for whatever reason. My nutritionist found out that I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. And so she suggested that I add in metformin if I could get a doctor to prescribe it for me to get that under control, because it does create an insulin resistance. I couldn't get a doctor to prescribe metformin for me because my blood sugar level was not high enough to justify it. So she suggested that I go to GNC or a health food store and get something called GTF Chromium and start taking that, which I did, and that actually did kick up some of the weight loss for me. So that was kind of cool. It helps to balance the hormones in your body and your metabolism for those who have metabolic disorders, such as polycystic ovarian syndrome, thyroid problems, which I do have as well. And it can help with people who have low diabetic symptoms. Then I met with the surgeon again, and this time he was pleased with what he saw and just told me a couple of things to tweak before the surgery, but I was ready to schedule surgery. And so I went to see him at the beginning of January, and I was scheduled for surgery. It was like beginning, middle of January, and I was told I could get the surgery in March the 6th to be exact, which would be this coming Monday. However, I did want to be put on a bump list, and so I was put on a bump list for if they had any cancellations, and they happened to have one on February 27th. So that's when I took it, and that's when I got my sleeve done. Oh, so the day of surgery was pretty chill for the most part. I had to wait until get down to the hospital till like 11 o'clock. I got there mad early because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't running late or behind or anything. And so they basically, it's a long day. Surgery is a long day. They took me back. They started IV on me, took my vitals. You know, I got a chance to talk to the anesthesia team. I got a chance to talk to the surgical team, the nurses. Everybody was very nice. I did have a moment when they were wheeling me to the OR, to the operating room, when I broke down crying. And it was just a combination of emotions, relief that it was actually happening, shock that it was actually happening, just realizing that it had been such a process that I had been through, and that my goal was finally becoming a realization, which was to have the weight loss surgery. I remember getting in the operating room crying and everybody telling me it's okay to be nervous and that everything was going to be okay. And the next thing I know, they were strapping me into the table. The next thing I know, I was waking up from recovery. So I don't even know how. I know I was told I was out for about an hour and 45 minutes, but I don't remember any of it. Obviously, you don't remember it when you go through surgery. So surgery day was pretty chill. I remember waking up in my room. My family was there. I was not feeling like being bothered with them, to be truthful. I just wanted to sleep it off. I tried. They stayed for a little bit, but not too long. And eventually they did get me up that night to walk around a little bit, and to make sure that I had my ice chips to kind of moisten my mouth, because I was NPO, so nothing by mouth, for like 12 hours prior. Well, no, more than 12 hours prior to the surgery. And then you can't have anything on the day of. And once you come out of recovery, it takes a while for you to wake up. So my mouth is pretty dry. So I had ice chips to suck on during that time. Anybody that tells you you're going to go to the hospital and get rest is lying to you, okay? It was not bad. The staff was very nice at the hospital, and the accommodations were really nice. I had a private room, and it was, you know, a very clean hospital. Everyone was just so lovely, but oh my God, they just bug you all the time. It's like every, you know, 4 hours or 6 hours or however long, sometimes every 2 hours, they're coming in to check the catheter, make sure you're making urine. They're making sure that you are getting your IV properly, that you're getting your meds, which I had sublingual medication that had to be melted under my tongue. Some liquid well, no, the first day I had a pain pump that I was pushing for pain medicine, but it was just always something. Check your blood pressure, check your blood sugar, you know, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, man, come on now. But it was really nice, though. I did have to get up and walk around in the hospital. So anytime I felt like it, I would just get up and walk around. The morning after the surgery, I did have my catheter taken out. So I would have to start going to the bathroom on my own. I was immediately started on liquids, clear liquids, chicken broth or high protein chicken broth, Jello, popsicles, diluted juice, and decaf tea. So, and I was given these little 1 ounce cups that I would put the liquids in, and I would drink it, sip it, and I would have to put a tally for every time that I use one, so they can kind of keep a track of how much I was taking in. The goal was to get in at least 20 to 22 ounces of fluid before being released, and I was able to do that. Then when I got ready to be released from the hospital, excuse me, the nutritionist had a little class with those of us that had been operated on that Monday, and went over the diet progression and all of that good stuff with us. And then we went in our rooms to wait for pharmacy to bring up our meds and to release us to go back home. So coming home was pretty cool. I was glad to be home in my own territory, on my own turf. But it did take some getting used to. For one, getting up and down from my sofa or from my bed was a little bit difficult with pain in the incisions. I have 5 laparoscopic incisions. The biggest one, where they did most of the work at, is the one that gives me the most trouble. It still aches. And wanting to get into stuff at home. I mean, there's always things you can do, cleaning, cooking, whatever. And I just didn't have it. I just was not here for that. And, you know, the smell of food is a little bit, it affects me a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out how to work through that, because I still have to cook for my household while I'm in this phase. So just trying to kind of deal with that, getting my protein in, because you're supposed to start protein when you get home. So getting my protein in is a bit of a challenge. The first day I watered down my protein shakes, and the second day too. I'm now drinking them full, just the way that they are, but trying my best to sip them and get them in. Today has not been a very good liquid day for me at all, fluids day for me at all. I felt nauseous a good majority of the day, although I'm taking my medicine. It's just, I think my stomach has got to get used to having something of substance in it. So a little bit of a struggle. I found that sucking on ice has helped me, definitely. So I'm getting cups of ice from like 7-Eleven or from McDonald's for like 25 cents a cup, a big old cup, so I can just suck on those ice cubes when I'm not in the mood to take in actual liquid, because sometimes it hurts, especially when I have that gas in there. I can feel it, and I can kind of feel it tightening up, and it's like, okay, I'll leave you alone for a minute. So yeah, being at home it's been pretty cool though. I did go out the day after I got home. I did go out to a store, and that was not the best idea. I actually broke down crying in the store. I just felt frustrated. I was starting to feel dizzy. I was feeling kind of tired, and I'm not used to not being on the go. I'm always on the go. So this is being just sitting at home and relaxing is just totally different for me. This is not what I'm used to. But everybody has been really great. My family has been very supportive, and chipping in and helping out. My sister, my son even, who usually does not do things, around the house has been, you know, helping and everything. So it's been really kind of cool. Still trying to ambulate, walk around my place, you know, as much as possible. Number one, it helps to clear the gas out. Number two, it helps to lessen the chances of blood clots. So that's a good thing. And now it's just up to me to make sure that I'm getting my fluids in and to make sure that I am maintaining my health while recovering. So that means keeping up my vitamin regimen, keeping up with all the medication that they gave me, such as Prilosec, to help to calm the stomach area so that you won't develop ulcers, keeping up with the anti-nausea medicine, even the pain meds when it's, you know, when I need to. I try not to rely so heavily on Tylenol 3 with codeine because it does bother my stomach because I don't have a lot in there. And because my stomach can only hold so much, I can't really take it with food. So I kind of have to temper how much I'm taking of that. But yeah, coming home has been pretty cool. Would I recommend it? If it is your last resort, yes, I would recommend it. I would not tell you to go get it if you have not tried everything else that you can possibly think of to safely and effectively lose the weight and keep it off. As I stated before, this was not my first choice. And it has not been very easy going through the process or through the surgery. The recovery still has its challenges. So I definitely would say if you are considering having this surgery, think carefully before you make that decision. Make sure that you're ready to make a lifelong commitment to it and that you're ready to make the changes that are necessary in order for you to be safe and in order for you to be successful with the surgery. There's no way around that. There are going to be changes. There are going to be not only changes that you're going to have to make with your food, with your lifestyle, but also with your friends and your family and your circle, co-workers, anybody that's around you is going to have to be willing to accept these changes that you make. And if they don't, you're going to have to be willing to stand your ground and to be firm against them and say, hey, it was my decision, not yours. Kick rocks, deuces. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it takes a tough skin to go through this and a lot of determination. So if you're going to do the surgery, make sure you research it. Make sure that you are 100% sure that this is what you want to do. And make sure that it's the last resort for you. Make sure that you're not just skipping all the other steps and trying this. Because all the other steps, changing the way that you eat, exercising, all of those things are part of the process of getting the gastric sleeve or the gastric bypass. So think wisely, think carefully, and choose wisely. So now I recover at home. I'm going to be off from work for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Well, more like 4 to 5 weeks now because we're at the end of the first week. And I am working on increasing my protein. I'm finding that my taste buds are not the same. I basically don't have a taste for anything. And I'm developing an aversion to certain things that I could tolerate before the surgery. So it's a trial and error thing. Research some protein powders and protein supplements. See what works for you. I'm finding that I'm trying out another one today, Gene Pro, flavorless protein powder. I have the Isopure flavorless protein powder, which is not totally flavorless and not totally odor-free. I've heard the Gene Pro is, so hopefully that works for me. I'm going to make some puddings. I'm going to make some jellos with the protein powder in there. Word to the wise, don't mix protein powder into already made stuff because it's nasty. It changes the texture, it changes the taste and the look, and it's just gross. Don't do it. So I'm going to make my own puddings and jello and, you know, drinks and things like that. So, yeah, I definitely would say to anybody that is following my journey that now it's just up to me to do what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm doing my walking around, but I'm not able to do strenuous exercise yet. But when I do, my plan is to get a trainer again and make sure I'm in the gym and working it out. And you guys will continue to see my progress because I will be updating at milestones. So probably my next update will be my 2-week appointment, which will be March 15th. And I can tell you how much I've lost, you know, at that point, give you some updated views of my body, pictures and things like that. And we'll go from there. Grow up. That's my word. Grow up. That's the easier part of it. But the more in-depth answer is stop judging. Learn. Educate yourself. If you're calling this the easy way out, if you're calling this a lazy person's way out, you have no idea of what the journey is all about. Surgery, whether it is necessary to save your life or whether it's elective because you just want to change the way you look, is never an easy decision to make. There is a lot of time and a lot of costs associated with it. There's a lot of pain that's associated with it. I would not call it the easy way out for someone to go check themselves into a program, go to the hospital, and allow themselves to be cut on, their insides to be rearranged, and their whole way of life be changed. I would not call that the easy way out at all. Did you know that having the weight loss surgery and doing nothing else only guarantees that you lose 60 to 80% of the excess body weight? That means that if you are 100 pounds plus overweight, you can have the surgery, only lose the bare minimum, and you'll still be considered overweight. So people who are 300-400 pounds that have the surgery, they may get down to the 200s, and guess what? They're still overweight if they haven't done the work. You still have to do the work to maintain your weight loss, because the first couple of months, I think the first year to 18 months, it is documented that it's the honeymoon phase. Regardless of what you do, you're going to lose weight because you can't take in the amount of food that you have been. But to maintain that weight loss and to continue to lose after that point takes work, time, and dedication. It is not the easy or the lazy way out to sit here and to change the way that you interact with people, with your family, with your friends, to sit here and be ridiculed for taking control of your health. And I think it's very interesting the number of celebrities and non-celebrities that have had breast removal, mastectomies, because there's a gene in their family that suggests that they have a good chance of developing breast cancer. So they remove their breast in an attempt to avoid that. Nobody thinks anything is wrong with that. They get praised for it. Oh my goodness, that is something for them to take away their femininity, and oh, she's so courageous for doing this, and blah, blah, blah. But then if someone comes around and says, you know what, I'm going to have this surgery to help me lose weight because I've been having trouble doing it. And my family runs diabetes, heart problems, cholesterol problems, you name it, it runs in my family. And I want to avoid having that. So I'm going to get this weight loss surgery to aid in my weight loss and to help me to stay healthier for the rest of my life. Everybody wants to look and go, oh, look at you. You're lazy. You just don't want to do the work. You want the easy way out. Really? How is that any different from someone that gets their breast removed so that they can avoid getting breast cancer? Ever think about that? I think we've attached such a stigma on obesity and on being fat and on being overweight from the time that we're, in elementary school. The fatty 2x4. Y'all remember that. Don't try to act like I'm the only one that heard that in school or that said that, because I was one that used to do it too. We've allowed society to fat shame people. We have forgotten that, number one, the average woman is not a size 4 or 6. The average woman is more like a size 14 or 16. And at one time, the pinups and the supermodels and the sex symbols of the world were considered by today's industry plus size women, size 12 and up. There's nothing wrong with it. As far as looks are concerned, health-wise, yes, there is something wrong with it. And if a person wants to do something to further their health, to make sure that they stay healthy and that they get healthy and they remain healthy, I say more power to them. People will say nothing about someone getting taking diet pills, all these juice cleanses that people are doing, fasts and all of this stuff that really and truly, in the long scheme of things, can actually harm your system more than do any good. Nobody says anything about that. But when a person wants to go under the knife to help them, to give them a tool to help them to lose weight, everybody wants to point fingers and everybody wants to laugh and everybody wants to call names. And it just needs to stop. Educate yourself more. Talk to more people that have had the weight loss surgery. Talk to a surgeon that does the weight loss surgery. Learn the psychology behind the whole reasoning for it. Look at the fact that there's a whole program dedicated to it. That is not just something that you go into the doctor's office and schedule this procedure. No, you have to go through a whole gamut of things to make sure that you are actually ready and able to withstand the surgery, the effects of it, and to carry it out for the rest of your life. That's not easy. That's not lazy. Get a life, get some knowledge, and then grow up and get some understanding and some compassion. And applaud those who have taken such a big step instead of sitting there and calling them names and booing them and jeering them. Why not try to cheer them on? Because they've taken one step further to taking control of their life. And you should do the same. Take control of yours and get out of everybody else's life. So there you have it. Those are the top 10 things that I wanted to point out to everybody. And I look forward to sharing my journey with you guys throughout the months and the years to come. My sleeve date was February the 27th. So at least once a month after my milestone of my 2-week appointment, at least once a month, I will try to update you guys so you see the progress and track it with me. I will be updating my social media, Instagram and Twitter more often. So follow me there. It's Carmen Said So. Also check out my blog, carmensaidso.com. And check that out. You'll get more updates there. But always, I will try to come back here and give you a video. So I am going to leave this now. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and keep in touch. Take care. Ciao.